So the beginning, I always like to talk about the definitions, and this time I had trouble. I don't think I picked the right title. So bouncing back from a mistake. And then if we think about the definition of bouncing, it didn't fit what I'm talking about at all. Stout, strong, vigorous, exaggerated, big, or hardy. And then back to support, to go, or move backward, which is not what we want to do. So I was like, okay, well, erase that, because those things may be in our other side of our mind. We're not really understanding what we mean by bouncing back. So then I thought, well, what about correcting? Should we correct after a mistake? And then that was to set or make true and remove errors, which of course we're not able to do, which is part of the stress of making a mistake of this kind, is that we can't just go back and fix it and then move forward. So that didn't fit either. So then I was like, okay, how about how to reset after a mistake? And reset, to set again, to a set or to adjust, fix in a new and different way. So that seemed to make more sense. So tonight we're going to talk about how to reset after we make a mistake. And then the mistake, I love it, is an error in action, calculation, or judgment caused by poor reasoning, carelessness, which of course can happen if we're in a hurry or we're not focused, and also insufficient knowledge, which brings us to that idea that when we know better, we do better. So mistakes, whether big or small, can interfere with flow. And this is something in riding that's super important. And the flow is the state where outside influence falls back and you can have 100% attention on that task at hand, on that connection that we have with the horses. And flow is a state of awareness, and it's the state of connection when we feel like they're working with us through very small aids and easy, quiet communication. So, one thing that took me a while to realize is that in each ride, we build rapport with the horses. And that rapport is starting when you go to the barn, if you tack up your own horse, while you're taking it to the arena. In the certain times in my life when I was really doing it as a business, sometimes your mind is elsewhere when you're taking the horse to the arena, or even when you're getting on. As I got more experienced, then I really utilized all of that time, whether I'm tacking up the horse or not. But when I take it to the arena, if someone brings it to the arena for me, then I spend a couple minutes on the ground anyway. I didn't have them just like take it to the mounting block and I get on. Maybe I'll do a little groundwork, walk it around a couple times, and build that rapport with that horse. So before I had the acknowledgement of the connection that I really like to build with the horses, when I would be riding and someone would stop me to ask me a question, and oftentimes, especially when we're in Wellington, the arenas were very close to the barn or very close to the parking lot, and people don't realize that it actually is work what we're doing when we're riding, and we do have to keep that connection and flow and concentration going. And so they would just come, stop me, want to talk about, where does the feed go, or this person called, or what time is that happening. And it actually used to really frustrate me because once I started riding again, I couldn't go back to where I was in the ride. And I didn't understand why until I was curious enough about it that I realized that whole process, bringing the horse to the arena, doing the groundwork, getting on, doing my warm up, all of that time, I'm building that flow and I'm building that rapport and that connection with my horse. So I have that feeling of asking questions, getting answers. How are they feeling today? What's feeling a little bit difficult or a little stressful today? And so then I stop, get out of that flow, and then I have time pressure. So I would be, on a schedule. I would have a client waiting for a lesson. I oftentimes get behind. And so I want to start right back up where I was, but it doesn't work like that, right? I needed to, even if it was only a couple laps, I needed to build that the connection that I had with the horse became broken. And the frustration, I put it on the outside influence until later when I realized that this was actually something that I could control and I could work on in myself. Even though it did take a couple minutes to build that connection back up again, I had to take that couple of minutes, and then everything would keep going from there.